What is up, everybody? It is me, Mikey, at Immortals Inc. headquarters. I was about to say worldwide from Immortals Inc., but I don't know if we're that far yet. But in other words, it is VTM time because I got Amanda with me today.
Hey.
What's up, Amanda? What are we talking about today?
So we're going to finish up the Sabbat book.
Yes.
Which there was a lot of content, as you know.
Yeah.
And we were getting ready to go on to something that is a little bit more detailed because when you play on the cam side, you don't get to pick a path. You're on humanity. You're holding on to your human side. But then there is the paths of morality that are available to you when you're not part of the cam. And they add a lot of flavor and ideology and depth to your characters. So think of it like a religion.
Okay, or kind of like our interpersonal moralities, like how we go through life or follow, life.
Yes. So it's like your belief system.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so, and if you're good at it and you're wholeheartedly into it, you can reach this ascension called Golconda.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And if you watched our last video, I'll plug it right there. You could check that out. She talked about Wakanda a little bit.
No, Golconda, not Wakanda. But Golconda is kind of like where you reach an ascended level of being a vampire, and it just unlocks more that you can do.
You kind of get more powerful as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So going in terms of morality, it's an enlightenment path. So think of like Hinduism, paths of enlightenment.
Okay, rubbing the belly, like Buddha type stuff.
And they have different approaches, and currently most of them are dark. There used to be a couple that you could take and be in the cam. They were called Honorable Accord, so think of like a samurai code.
Okay.
And then they had Harmony, which is you care about yourself and your friends. And you can ride the wave, which is you can control the beast within.
Oh. Very spiritual.
When you're on humanity, you can't. You frenzy. You can't ride the wave.
You see red. You're
Yes.
just ready to go.
It's like a bull. You see red, it's over. Okay. With the other paths, some of them can ride the wave, is what they call it, and they can control themselves while they're frenzied and use the frenzy to their advantage. Be closer to Cain, the first vampire. So one of the paths first I was going to mention is the path of Cain, where you embrace being a vampire.
Okay.
Okay. And you want to become more like Cain. You want to master the beast. You want to use your powers. You want to make the humans submit.
Idolizing Cain.
Yep. Then you have the path of Cathari, which is the path of sin. So you give in to vices and pleasures of the flesh.
Wow.
Okay. So that's another one. And they all have things that they can and can't do. So, path of Cain, you can't really be like, oh yeah, I'm going to help this human out and I'm going to make vampires look stupid. That's not something you can do. In terms of Cathari, not giving in to your vices, not giving in to sin would be a sin against your path and would cause you to drop from your path.
Ooh.
Then you have path of power and inner voice. This is basically for those who like leadership roles. And trying to take control of the city. So it's unified through power and control of self and control of others.
Okay.
So
very controlling.
If you were to be a Malkavian with this and had megalomania, that would be problematic.
I would think so.
It would be double the power hungry.
Yeah, I mean, OP maybe?
Or really close to frenzy constantly.
Yeah, seeing red all the time.
All the time. Another one is Path of Death in the Soul, and this is the study of death.
Nice.
And it's basically for necromancers and stopping someone from dying would be a sin.
Embrace death.
Yes. And the book goes in a little bit more depth on this, but at the top level, since you haven't played, this is just like the cut and dry of it. And I've played almost all of these paths in Old World of Darkness, but my favorite's always been Harmony. So the fact that Harmony's not in the book makes me sad.
Wow.
I think Harmony makes Vampire easy for anyone to play. So if I'm hoping when we get to the Anarchs book, which I'm still reviewing that book, I'm hoping Harmony's in there. I really do, because the path of Harmony makes it so you can embrace being a vampire, but you can also still keep some of your humanity, your behaviors of being a human, not being overt about being a vampire, not having to be cruel.
Be like nonchalant about it.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Humanity can be pretty rough. Trying to hold on to your humanity, the more chaos you see, the chaos you sow, the violence, it wears on you. And so it's harder to hold on to humanity. Just as some of these paths are a lot harder. Like Path of Cain's pretty hard. Death in the Soul, not so much. As long as you study death and let things die, including yourself, you're pretty good. But they did add a new path for the Thin Bloods.
Really?
And this is Path of the Sun. It's where you're better than Cain. You don't have the weaknesses Cain does.
Don't need Cain.
Yep. So, Thin Blood radicals have it. It's about pushing the limits of the power, pushing the limits of yourself. I like it. I think it'd be cool to play a Thin Blood. I haven't played one. As a storyteller, yeah, I run some, but I haven't personally played a Thin Blood yet. But we do, in our campaign here at Immortals, have 2 people playing Thin Bloods. And if we were to play an Anarch or Sabbat game, I think they would have a blast with this path.
Ooh, pull up.
Yep. So,
if you can find us, good luck.
Yes. You can find us in this basement, this magical office building.
If you come to an office building, you're hot. Real hot.
There are some paths that still exist, but they're considered forsaken. And the one I mentioned about the honor code, Honorable Accord does exist, but it's rare.
Okay.
Path of the Beast exists, but again, it's rare. It's about giving in to the beast and giving in to frenzy. So you can't ride the wave, but you embrace that monster inside.
Wow.
And then Path of Lilith, which is the path of pain.
Pain enjoyers.
Got a little bit of an S&M path.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So what all this boils down to is the Sabbat have one of the coolest things. And technically I think the Anarchs do too, but it's only if somebody shovel parties you. So you have to fall completely off of humanity to be able to go on a path of morality such as these. And one of the ways that the Sabbat does this is they bury you in your coffin or bury you in a hole, and you have to dig your way out, and it strips you of your humanity. And then somebody pulls you on a path as you come back up.
Wow.
So somebody has to teach you to be on Path of Cain. And that's what the pack priests and so forth, their jobs are, is to do this change of path when you become a Sabbat.
Wow. And are there roles for those priests? Like you can
play them if you are playing in a Sabbat game. So it's just like, as we mentioned before, everything in the cam has its double in the Sabbat. So it's only the Anarchs, which we'll get to in a future video, that don't have all these roles of authority. So while the Sabbat claims to be the opposite, they're really just the opposite. They're not anti. So they're like a dark version of the cam. They still have rules. They still have some sort of social structure. But all in all, they're just a dark version of the cam that doesn't believe that, humans are equal, thinks humans are cattle, and have the opportunity to not have to be humane.
And do some crazy morality stuff.
Yep, the morality stuff. So if you want to experiment with that whole side, Sabbat book is where it's at.
Wow.
And so I do give the Sabbat, even though I do not play the Sabbat, and I do not run a Sabbat-centric game, they have their place, and I think this book is a solid 8 out of 10.
That's huge coming from Amanda.
Yeah, and the things that I wish it had more information on Golconda. I wish that the paths were laid out a little different. In the past, it was like a chart. Okay, so since you hadn't played in the past, it was like a little spreadsheet that said, these are the sins. These are the things that help me grow. It's not like that. Kind of has a little bit of flavor of that, but it's not cut and dry.
Did you like the cut and dry?
I do.
Okay.
In comparison of the old books to the new books, there are things that are missing that in terms of communication, not so much as content. Yes, the stories have changed. Yes, the clans have changed and some of the rules have changed. That's not the part that concerns me. It just seems like getting the point across is where I think this book could be better. Not that it's bad. I think it could be better.
That's just the remaining 2 out of
10
left.
I had expected a little bit more out of it. As you saw with the Cam book, we had a lot to go over. This one did have powers and all the things. But I thought with it being the Sabbat and they're the big bad, I had higher expectations. 8 out of 10 is not bad.
8 out of 10 is incredible. I'll
It's
take
solid.
that all damn
It's
report
totally
card.
a necessity for anyone running a game.
And, you know, considering how complex the cam could be in terms of just having to do that balance, that might be a good reason as to why this might be a little less chunky. But I love that rating. So check it out for yourselves. Come in here. The link's right below if you guys want to buy it. And then if you want to let us know in the comments what you would want us to talk about before we already have plenty more to talk about. If you have any suggestions, let us know. Amanda will answer your questions. I'll try.
Yeah, and if there's a
Carlos will.
subject from a previous book you want us to go more in depth on, I'll gladly do a deep dive.
Yeah, she will. Trust me, she will. So see you guys next time. Thank you.